Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Husband.
Wife.
Hello.
Hi, we're back.
Hi, welcome back.
Yeah, we had a bit of a meltdown on our computer.
It took a crap.
And then we had to order parts and it took forever. And now we're back.
A week later. And
yeah.
You know what we're going to do?
We're going to continue where we left off?
Well, yes, but we're going to pretend that episodes, well, I don't know the episode number, but Daniel chapters 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
That those just now were Monday, Tuesday,
and we're
Wednesday.
We're just picking back up. Yeah, right.
And
so then, this is Thursday last week.
Yep.
Instead of Thursday this week?
No, those were this week.
Oh, okay.
We never took a week off. So since we just read Daniel chapter 3 yesterday, do you remember what happened and where the hell we are?
Well, I remember there was a golden dildo. Giant golden dildo.
I don't recall that.
Yeah, there was a giant statue. The Nebuchadnezzar made the giant golden statue.
Yeah, and they wouldn't bow to it.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly. And then the three guys, the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Why can't we just say Daniel's homies?
Yeah, those guys.
Mm-hmm.
They got thrown into a fire by Nebuchadnezzar. Mm-hmm. And they lived because God,
no,
I guess?
Because when Nebuchadnezzar looked into the furnace door window or something, A, he didn't get burned up even though his guards did.
Right.
And B, he saw the shadowy golden image of fourth guy, which is God, ?
Sure. Or, angel of the Lord, whatever they want to call it. And but then, because we just got done reading prior to that, how Nebuchadnezzar was saying how this God was all powerful because Daniel was able to interpret his dream and know his dream. Mm-hmm. So that happened the chapter prior to this last one. Mm-hmm. And then in this one, he's throwing people in the fire because they worship this other God. And then
they wouldn't bow
to his God.
Yeah.
Right.
To his precious little dildo statue.
Right. And so when that happened and he saw that they lived and some god or angel or whatever saved them, he then said that this God was the most powerful God again.
Yep.
Again.
He relearned his lesson.
So
he's I forgot.
The amount of times that he's learned that this God is the most powerful God kind of detracts from the idea that he's learned that this God is the most powerful God.
Right. Yeah.
But that's just my opinion.
I mean, he is Babylonian. You know about those Babylonians. He certainly was no Chaldean.
Right.
He comes from his mom's side of the family.
Yeah. So that was the gist of Daniel chapter 3.
It sure as fuck was.
And we're really happy to be back on our regular schedule that never happen.
Deviated.
Right, yeah. Just go with that.
Yep.
And so today we're going to be reading
Daniel chapter 4.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. All right, we are hopping into Big D or Danny Boy.
Or Daniel.
Yes. Chapter 4.
Yes.
And before we start, I wanted to say a couple things. First, a reminder, since I know we just read this yesterday, but, just a refresher. This book is divided into 2 parts. We are in the first part, which is comprising chapters 1 through 6.
Okay.
And that is a set of 6 court tales. So it's like Daniel's time at court, except for chapter 3, where he didn't show up at all.
Right.
And then the second part is chapters 7 through 12, which are for apocalyptic visions.
Right.
And speaking of apocalyptic, that gets me into, I need to clarify something because I used the word apocryphal and apocalyptic in confusing ways, and I don't think I totally knew what the fuck I was talking about.
In the last episode.
In one of the previous episodes.
Right.
Yeah. So, an apocryphal story is one that is considered like secret or missing, or it's one that's been kept out of the Bible.
Right.
Yeah, out of the canon specifically. Or that would be in general, but with regard to the Bible, it's been left out of the Bible.
Right.
So there are some stories that belong in the book of Daniel that are apocryphal in that they're left out.
Right.
Okay. Now, having said that, the book of Daniel is considered an apocalyptic tale because it has those apocalyptic visions.
Right.
So, and there are other books of the Bible, like the book of Revelation is one that we happen to know is an apocalyptic story. I mean, just kind of gleaned that from, what we know of the book of Revelation.
Yes.
Yeah. So, the story of Daniel, the book of Daniel, is an apocalyptic vision. There are tales that were left out of this apocalyptic vision, therefore they are apocryphal. So one might say that those 3 stories that were left out are both apocryphal and apocalyptic.
Okay. Well, are they though? Like, do you know that those stories are apocalyptic? Or?
They're part of the apocalyptic book. I don't know if those stories in and of themselves are apocalyptic visions.
Okay.
So that is a good point. I don't know whether they'd fall into the court tales or the visions.
Right, and that's what I was just curious about, because I don't know anything about those extra books of Daniel. So
me neither. I don't even know if Daniel's in them.
Right, right.
So just wanted to clarify that there is a difference between apocryphal and apocalyptic, and that I may or may not have used them interchangeably, and never listened to me. So there's that. All right, so...
But no, listen to us all the time.
Right.
Every day, all the time.
Except
for when we take a week off, which we don't and didn't and still haven't.
When I say don't listen to me, I just mean don't trust me. Always listen to our podcast. Never trust a goddamn thing we say. I mean, basically.
Well, I think, look, we endeavor to find the right information, and we always try to come back with the correct information. And I think that because we're going through this for our first time, and we're trying to figure this out kind of on the fly, right? We're not doing a lot of research up front. Right. I do very mild research, and I don't always catch the full meaning or impact of certain words. And I this has been from the very get-go meant to be a very first take glance at the Bible from the perspective of us who are, it's our first time reading it.
Right.
And we're atheists, right?
And we ain't got no college between us. Just kidding.
That's not entirely true.
I know.
But
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We do have some college. I was just, saying we're like the everyman.
Sure.
That's all.
Okay.
So this chapter, Daniel chapter 4, gets into Nebuchadnezzar's madness. Okay. And I have sent you a picture that is creepy AF that y'all should go take a look at this picture. Husband is going to put it in different places. I don't know where
I'm going to try. I can't really do it in the show notes, I don't think.
No, so. I don't think you can post it in the show notes.
I'm not really sure where I'm putting it yet.
Okay. Well, I will talk about it again at the end of this and let you know what it's called and everything so that you can try to go find it.
Okay.
It's not hard. Actually, if you...
It's pretty easier to find a link to it, and then I'll try to put a link to a picture.
I didn't even think of that.
That'd be the easiest way to do it.
I didn't even think of that. Like, if you go to Wikipedia and just type in Daniel 4, Daniel chapter 4 is what that is, and it comes up in that. Because it's a rendition of what Nebuchadnezzar might have looked like. So I
saw the picture. That's really creepy and weird.
Yes, isn't it though?
Why would he look like that?
I don't know. Let's find out.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw that when I was doing my notes, and I was like, why is he...
He's human, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a guy.
Yeah.
Some dude.
It's very weird.
Who builds 60-foot dildos.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Golden ones. Yeah.
I mean, this picture is not cool. It doesn't... He does not look okay in that image.
No, he doesn't.
All right. So let's read this.
Okay.
King Nebuchadnezzar, to the nations and peoples of every language who live in all the earth.
Uh-huh.
And this is a letter, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I forgot to say
from
that.
From Nebuchadnezzar? Or who's the letter from? What?
This chapter is presented in the form of a letter from King Nebuchadnezzar.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Sorry. May you prosper greatly. It is my pleasure to tell you about the miraculous signs and wonders that the Most High God has performed for me. So something has happened to Nebuchadnezzar, and he's like, y'all, hang on, wait.
Suddenly he's a believer.
Yeah. Yeah,
like the monkeys or whatever.
Like the monkeys.
Isn't it? I'm a believer. Isn't that the monkeys?
No. You're thinking of the song in Shrek, right? I'm a believer.
Yeah.
That is not the monkeys.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure what song you're thinking of by the monkeys. Hey,
that's I don't know.
Say we monkey around.
I don't know.
I don't either. Okay. Anyways. How great are his signs, how mighty his wonders. His kingdom is an eternal kingdom. His dominion endures from generation to generation. Okay, so he is like...
Then he's all in.
Yeah.
He's like, damn.
He's committed. He's like, y'all, just wait till I tell you.
The dream thing, that was... but the living through the fire.
Yeah.
That did it.
Yeah, the
apparently.
walk in the fire.
Yeah. He's writing a letter.
He's writing a letter to all his buddies.
Yeah.
And I mean, who does a king hang out with but other kings and high officials?
Right. And you would think that if he thought this, that he would maybe let them, the Israelites go.
You would think.
If he really thought this like, God was like this badass, right?
I didn't know. Here,
right.
you can have your shit back. I don't want that guy
I'm
after me.
not going to fuck with you.
Right? Ooh. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at home in my palace, contented and prosperous. I was just hanging around as I do, like whatever, all innocent and kingly.
Sure.
I had a dream that made me afraid. As I was lying in bed, the images and visions that passed through my mind terrified me.
Mm-hmm.
So I commanded that all the wise men of Babylon be brought before me to interpret the dream for me. So he's recapping what happened.
Yeah.
When the magicians, enchanters, astrologers, and diviners came, I told them the dream, but they could not interpret it for me, and that is not what happened.
Right. He told them that they had to know what the dream was.
Yeah. He did not tell them his dream. He told them he had a dream.
Right.
Tell me what my dream is and tell me what the fuck it means.
Yeah.
So already...
it's not correct.
It's not correct.
Yeah.
Y'all wrote that shit wrong. Finally, Daniel came into my presence, because I made him.
Yeah.
And I told him the dream.
That's not entirely true either. When Daniel came into his presence, it was because Daniel requested to see him.
Oh, yeah. But listen to this. I told him the dream. No, but you didn't, though.
Right.
Oh, my God. Unless this is a different dream. But I can't imagine that it would be.
That doesn't make any sense.
He is called Belteshazzar, because
so he's admitting that this God is the all-powerful, all-seeing, knowing God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet he's not referring to Daniel by his given name from his Hebrew name.
Yeah.
He's referring to them by the name that he gave him.
Yeah.
Which sounds like he doesn't really respect this God in that statement.
I don't know. Listen to this.
Okay.
He is called Belteshazzar after the name of my God, and the spirit of the holy gods is in him. So he's basically like, this is his way of showing respect, even though it is disrespectful.
Right.
So does he disrespect? I don't know.
Got it.
Okay. I said, Belteshazzar. Big D,
Yeah.
chief of the magicians, I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in you, and no mystery is too difficult for you. Here is my dream. Interpret it for me.
Okay.
These are the visions I saw while lying in bed. I looked, and there before me stood a tree in the middle of the land. Its height was enormous, as a tree does.
Sure.
The tree grew large and strong, and its top touched the sky, as trees do.
What constitutes touching the sky? Wouldn't anything off of the ground kind of be the sky? It's a matter of perspective, right? Mm-hmm. If you're an ant, the sky is just right there, like at our ankle. But if you're, a human, obviously it's a little bit higher.
It's kind of like where does sky end and space begin?
Right. Yeah. It's all about how you perceive it. So,
and if you live in the mountains, are you in the sky? No, you're still on Earth. But I don't know. I feel like you might. be in the sky.
I hiked in the mountains once,
and there's clouds up there.
I was above the clouds.
See?
So, I guess maybe I touched the sky.
Okay. And what about an airplane? If it's hovering, it's not on the ground, but it's hovering above the ground. Is it in the sky? It's not on Earth.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right?
Right.
That's one of those questions that keep you up at night kind of things.
Not me.
No, but it's like shower thoughts. All right. Velociraptor, Velociraptor.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, the tree touched the sky or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was visible to the ends of the earth. Its leaves were beautiful, its fruit abundant, and on it was food for all. Under it was the wild... Oh, I messed that up. Let me try reading that again.
Right.
Under it, the wild animals found shelter, and the birds lived in its branches. From it, every creature was fed. What
Is
a
this
great
the same dream? Because I remember like a statue that was made of a bunch of different materials.
This must be a different dream.
I guess.
So, okay, maybe he did tell him his dream.
Sure.
It's weird.
This whole book so far has been very disjointed with regard to the stories and how they kind of...
don't connect.
Right, yeah.
They're like chapter one story in and of itself.
They're kind of well-told stories, but they're not together.
Right. They don't have transitions. And an editor would send it back and say, you need to write transitional scenes.
Even the fact, like, it's not so much that it doesn't have transitions, it doesn't have any continuity. Like, there's no like, this story doesn't relate to the other dream story that we learned about, which I would have assumed it would have been about. Yeah. The last story doesn't acknowledge the fact that he already acknowledged that God is the most God of high. And here he's writing a letter about God being the most biggest God, best God. But it's not about either of the other times that he acknowledged that.
It's an entirely different dream.
This is all kind of fucked up. Like, as far as, this is really weird.
Yeah. I don't know. It is interesting.
Yeah.
In the visions I saw while lying in bed, I looked, and there before me was a holy one, a messenger coming down from heaven. He called in a loud voice, "Cut down the tree and trim off its branches, strip off its leaves and scatter its fruit. Let the animals flee from under it and the birds from its branches. But let the stump and its roots, bound with iron and bronze, remain in the ground, in the grass of the field.
Okay.
Let him be drenched with the dew of heaven." This is still the guy talking. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
"And let him live with the animals among the plants of the earth. Let his mind..." I got to tell you, I got to interrupt myself here. If this happened in my dream, I could not wake up and tell you this whole speech, blah, 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 blah. I'd be like, I don't know. He said something like, cut that shit down and I don't know, feed the animals with the fruit.
I'm not going to, so I'm going to say this. I had a friend that I remember from high school that was able to, like, in detail recount his dreams that he had, like, from the previous night. Okay. And he would tell us the whole thing.
Oh, no. I don't have a problem with him remembering everything that happened. Okay. I am having a problem with the whole, and then he said a speech, and I'm going to recount for you the speech that he said. Right. And it's like a word for word thing. Got it. Like, that's what I mean. I would not be able to deliver that speech to you.
Got it. Okay.
I would have to summarize it in my special way.
I think we're supposed to assume that this is, imprinted from God, right?
Seared into his brain.
Yeah.
All right. In gold, sparkling letters. All right. Let him live with the animals among the plants of the earth. Let his mind be changed from that of a man, and let him be given the mind of an animal till 7 times pass by for him.
7
7.
Yeah.
Always
Okay,
7.
Right.
That would be why he looks weird as fuck in that picture.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The decision is announced by messengers. The holy ones declare the verdict so that the living may know that the Most High is sovereign over all kingdoms on earth and gives them to anyone he wishes and sets over them the lowliest of people.
Okay.
This is the dream that I, King Nebuchadnezzar, had. Now, Belteshazzar, tell me what it means, for none of the wise men in my kingdom can interpret it for me. But you can, because the spirit of the holy gods is in you. I got that in me, all right.
Again, they had their own gods in Babylon, and none of this tracks. This just does not sit well with me as something that could have even remotely happened. I'm
going to push back on that just a little bit, in that they might, many of them might have looked on the gods as personal. And so, our God, my God, is different from y'all's God and your personal God. So they recognized that each of them had different gods. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
It wasn't until, what are they called? The Hebrews took over and were like, no, there's only one though. And then later on, and then the Christians were like, yeah, totally. There's only fucking one. There's only one, goddamn it, ever. There never was any other.
Sure.
So prior to that, they recognized that, we have our God over here in this corner of the world. Y'all have yours. And then, you might pass somebody on the road but
I'm not even getting at that. I'm saying that the acclaim that he is giving to this God when he's got his own God that they worship seems excessive. It seems too much. It seems that he's giving too much credit to this God when he was. This is a guy who they are claiming was building 60-foot statues for his God, right, and doing sacrifices and doing all these different things, right. And all of a sudden we're supposed to believe that he is this he's just prostrating himself converted. And he's writing letters because he is so enamored with this other God that has proved itself to him. I just don't buy it. That's all.
Right.
He literally just conquered these people, and this just sounds like some propaganda bullshit is what it sounds like.
True. I mean,
especially because it's so disjointed.
The winners did write the book after all.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
All right. So then Daniel, also called Belteshazzar, was greatly perplexed for a time, and his thoughts terrified him. So the king said, Belteshazzar, do not let the dream or its meaning alarm you.
Okay.
I mean, if you were Daniel, wouldn't you be like, the hell you say? You don't know what it is.
Right.
You don't get to be like, don't be afraid.
Right. Yeah, you wouldn't be asking for my interpretation if you knew what it meant. So
yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Yeah. My lord, if only the dream applied to your enemies and its meaning to your adversaries. The tree you saw, which grew large and strong with its top touching the sky, visible to the whole earth, with beautiful, that one?
Yeah.
That one with beautiful leaves. I'm going to re-describe it to you, okay?
Right.
With beautiful leaves and abundant fruit, providing food for all, giving shelter to the wild animals, and having nesting places in its branches for the birds. Mm-hmm. You know that one?
Yes.
Okay. Your majesty.
Yes.
You are that tree, your majesty. I was having a hard time with majesty and tree.
Right.
Because he says, your majesty, you are that tree.
Got it.
So I would call him your magistry.
Yeah.
Because that's just fun.
Right.
Okay, sorry. You have become great and strong. Your greatness has grown until it reaches the sky. And your dominion extends to distant parts of the earth.
Okay.
I don't think he touches the sky.
Well, I mean, they're just saying he's great, right?
You so great.
Yeah.
You're a fucking tree, guy.
Yeah. We're talking about a fucking dream here, so whatever.
Look how you be so tree.
Yeah.
Your majesty saw a holy one, a messenger coming down from heaven and saying, and I'm going to tell you again what he said.
Yeah,
I'm going to describe your dream back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cut down the tree and destroy it, but leave the stump bound with iron and bronze and the grass of the field while its roots remain in the ground.
Hold on.
What?
Iron and bronze.
Yeah.
That was part of the original dream that we heard back in that earlier chapter. Okay. Remember, because they left the bits at the bottom that were, it was ceramic or it was like clay and
steel. It was clay and steel.
Or no, iron.
Was it iron?
Yeah, because we talked about how he used to hate iron, and then it started representing other things later on. But anyway, it sounds like maybe it's like this is like an offshoot of the same story.
Yeah.
This is some other branch of it.
I mean, keep in mind, too, that these stories were picked up from various sources.
Yeah, no.
Like, they were not just, like, lying around already stapled together.
That's what I'm trying to draw attention to, is that this is probably essentially the same story, just different versions of it that were out there.
Right. That's true. See, what they should have done is, like, combine them so that it was one story. You know?
Yeah.
Like, dude told me what it meant, and then, so this is what we did.
I do find it really interesting that even in this modern age that there are so many blatant contradictions that are left in the Bible that they just don't correct because it's always been there. Right. Right? Like, we know... scholars know that these things are not, it draws attention to the legitimacy or illegitimacy of the Bible, right? And so why would we leave them in there? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Because these are words that were exchanged thousands of years ago.
But there's stories that somebody created thousands of years ago is what it is, and they wrote them down. And then the part that bothers me is that essentially a lot of this stuff is said to be the word of God or the directions from God or whatever. But when we're talking about two different things that are kind of the same thing but not matching in any way whatsoever, that really, really detracts from that message. So that's all.
No, I agree. You're right. Okay, so I'm still describing to you what happened in your dream. Okay. Right. Cut down the tree and destroy it, but leave the stump bound with iron and bronze in the grass of the field, while its roots remain in the ground. Let him be drenched with the dew of heaven. Doo-doo. Let him live with the wild animals until 7 times pass by for him.
7.
Yep. This is the interpretation, Your Majesty, Magistry, if you will. And this is the decree the Most High has issued against my lord the king. You will be driven away from people and will live with the wild animals.
Oh, no, not that.
You will eat grass like the ox and be drenched with the dew of heaven. Please don't hit me.
Okay.
7 times will pass by for you until you acknowledge that the Most High is sovereign over all kingdoms on earth and gives them to anyone he wishes.
I want to make one small note here, because we say things about it all the time, but we don't talk about it a lot anymore. But the number 7 has popped up so many times throughout the Bible, as well as 40. And there's a couple of, like, there's some numbers that just, like, 12 is another one.
They just have, like numbers.
There's these certain numbers that just always pop into
That's why people love patterns, and specific numbers made it easier to remember the stories verbally. And these were originally oral stories, a lot of them. Yeah. So there's that end. Now coming at it from the other end, where we are today, people love patterns, so they look at those numbers and try to ascribe meaning to it. Right. And that's where you get your numerologists and your angel numbers and shit like that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to keep making fun of it without saying something about it.
Yeah. So. It's 7 for me, dog. The command to leave the stump of the tree with its roots. Okay, so I'm still Daniel telling the king that, he's going to go mad or whatever. Sure. Means that your kingdom will be restored to you when you acknowledge that heaven rules. Heaven rules, man!
Hence, he's writing this letter.
Yeah. Therefore, Your Majesty, be pleased to accept my advice. Renounce your sins by doing what is right, and your wickedness by being kind to the oppressed. It may be that then your prosperity will continue.
Okay.
All this happened to King Nebuchadnezzar. Me, the letter writer.
Right.
Me. Yeah. I'm writing this.
Yes.
Okay. 12 months later, as the king, me, was walking on the roof of the royal palace of Babylon, I, the king, said, "Is not this the great Babylon I have built as the royal residence by my mighty power and for the glory of my majesty? Look at my shit. My shit is so big. Did you see how my dick was just hanging there, but so huge?
Okay, I'm not really. I'm not understanding what's going on here exactly.
He's being boastful.
Yeah, but that's not good with God.
Yeah,
right?
He's going to get in trouble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
I mean, even as the words were on his lips, a voice came from heaven. You're a fool. You're so fucking stupid. I specifically told you don't say that shit.
Right.
This is what is decreed for you, King Nebuchadnezzar. This is the voice from heaven.
Yeah, right. In his letter.
Yeah, in his letter. Your royal authority, boom, has been taken from you. It doesn't say boom, but I thought it would be fun.
Yeah, nice touch.
Yeah. You, King Nebuchadnezzar, will be driven away from the people and will live with the wild animals. You will eat grass like the ox.
Okay.
7 times will pass by for you until you acknowledge that the Most High is sovereign over all kingdoms on earth and gives them to anyone he wishes.
We've talked about this before, too. This story sounds very similar to the whole Moses and Pharaoh story.
Yeah.
Like the 7 and the things and I think we talked about this during his first dream because there was some correlation between the Exodus story and this story. And it feels like these writings that are being done, which they were written, as I recall, like we talked about in the first chapter, they're written in like the 2nd century BCE.
I think so. I believe. You know, I'm shitty with numbers.
Whatever. They were written later than a lot of the other books we've written that we've read so far. And I believe it was like around 200 BCE. So I'm just going to go with something along those lines. Yeah. But it feels like there was this group of people, and I think we even talked about the group of people, but like they're writing these books based on their studies of the Bible to create new stories. They're like, hey,
let's just reissue this one with new binding.
Right. Yeah, that was a great idea for a story. Let's just use that shit.
You know what people love? People who collect books. What they love is when you get a book and it has multiple different covers. People love that. By which I mean readers fucking hate that shit. Don't do it.
Right.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Or like the movie tie-in cover. No, they want the original cover. Okay? So that's what they're doing here. They're just putting it in a new cover.
Well, but it's in a whole new book though. They're writing.
Okay. It's a new story, but whatever.
Right.
You know, new phone who dis.
Right.
Kind of thing. But it's the same person at the other end of the line.
Sure.
Okay. Immediately, what had been said about Nebuchadnezzar was fulfilled. Oh, we got to listen to it one more time. They're going to tell us what they told us, what they said.
All right.
He was driven away from people and ate grass like the ox. His body was drenched with the dew of heaven until his hair grew like the feathers of an eagle and his nails like the claws of a bird. And that picture that we saw perfectly encompasses that.
That I'll link to in the show notes, yes.
At the end of that time, I, Nebuchadnezzar, raised my eyes toward heaven, and my sanity was restored.
Okay.
At that time, I don't understand. Didn't you do a 7? You had to do a 7 before you looked up, right?
We're just going to assume that happened 7 times, you know. So,
are we assuming this is a week and not like 7 years?
I'm assuming that this whole story is bullshit.
I mean, okay, yes, obviously it's bullshit, but like in canon,
right? They didn't really make that clear, so I really don't know.
It had to only be a week. It couldn't be 7 years.
Sure.
I mean, in canon,
I guess
the king couldn't have disappeared for 7 years.
Right, but also this book of Daniel so far has been very boisterous with regard to how it is, you know, pushing up God. Yeah, it's definitely inflating God's ego with all this. It's crazy. This whole thing is just crazy talk. God,
Goddy, God, God, Goddy, God, God, Goddy, God, God, Goddy, God.
Right.
Then I praised the Most High. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I honored and glorified him who lives forever. His dominion is an eternal dominion. His kingdom endures from generation to generation. Although he does ignore his people a lot.
He does.
All the peoples of the earth are regarded as nothing. They're not even worms now. Damn, they're not even worms. He does as he pleases with the power of heaven and the peoples of the earth, because he's a dick.
Right.
I recognize that your God is a dick.
Yes, I do recognize that as well.
No one can hold back his hand or say to him, "What have you done?" I can.
Yeah, and then we're doing that.
Yeah.
So.
What have you done? My goodness, you suck.
Right.
At the same time that my sanity was restored, my honor and splendor were returned to me for the glory of my kingdom.
Okay.
My advisors and nobles sought me out, and I was restored to my throne and became even greater than before. Do you think he brushed his teeth first?
I don't know.
Combed his hair?
I don't know. I think this whole...
Changed
this
his undies?
is just dumb.
I mean, he was just like crawling around in the grass, right? Like a madman?
Yeah.
Like, do you think he cleaned up?
I have no idea.
Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and exalt and glorify. I got out my thesaurus and did a bunch of good positive things.
Yeah.
The King of Heaven. Because everything he does is right, and all his ways are just. And those who walk in pride, he is able to humble. The end.
I want to know where they got their source material from. Because this was written 400 years after the Babylonian exile, right? So Nebuchadnezzar has been dead for 400 years. When they wrote this, probably.
Something like that.
Yeah, I'm almost certain that that's correct.
Okay.
So anyway, they wrote this, let's just say 300 to 400 years after Nebuchadnezzar is dead, right?
Okay.
And what the fuck do we know about people 300 and 400 years? What do we know about people at like our founding fathers?
We don't even know our great-grandparents usually.
We know enough to tell some like fun stories about them, right?
Right.
But that's because we have a lot of written history on them. Mm-hmm. And they're still vague characters to us that we don't really know that well.
Yeah.
And here we are in ancient times reading about Nebuchadnezzar and what he felt like with regard to this god.
Yeah.
How?
Some 300 or 400 years ago.
Where did you get your information? I want to know where you got this from.
Right.
Because it doesn't make this makes no fucking sense.
Unless it was filed in the historical fiction aisle. I mean, I'm just saying, historical fiction is a thing. It's where you take a person or event that actually happened from history, which Nebuchadnezzar was a king,
right.
And then you write a story around it, and you apply words and thoughts and feelings to him, and then you can't call it historical, obviously, because it's fiction, but
right.
It has so much history in it that did happen, so you call it historical fiction, and that is what they did with this.
I believe this whole story about Nebuchadnezzar and Babylon and God and Daniel and all his friends, I feel like this is a 300 to 400 years later feel good insert into the biblical text so that everybody can feel better about their whole getting conquered thing that happened a while back, Right. It just this feels like propaganda, like I said earlier. It doesn't jive with all, like, none of these chapters mesh well with each other.
Right.
And it just feels like straight up propaganda.
Well,
that's how I feel about it.
They needed to create these stories to resurrect a national pride.
Yeah. What
is going to be more exciting than a king who oppressed you, not just like dying, but like before he died, he actually turned around and praised our God.
Right, but that's that's the conversation I'd like to be having about the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. What did this actually mean to these people? Why did they do these things in the context of history? What was going on at the time? Why do they write these obviously false stories about this king? And there are reasons, like you just said, probably that revolve around pride of their people and trying to bring back their nationality and getting everybody excited about their God again, right?
Right.
But we don't talk about it that way. We talk about it as a true Word of God type thing that happened.
Right. You want to be able to have like a literary analysis that also takes history and geography into account and the politics at the time and all of that.
I think that's how we should be talking about any 2,000-year-old mythological being.
No, I agree. Totally.
That has no proof of existence.
Well, that's what we're trying to do here, but we have to read it in order to be able to have that conversation.
Yeah, and I'm further away. Like, I was already really far away from believing in God before we ever started this Bible, right?
Yeah, but you were more just like, meh, whatever.
I was angry at what people did with the Bible and the words in the Bible, and because it was affecting our culture a lot, and now even more so, right?
Right.
But I didn't know to what extent it was just a bunch of crap. You know, like, I didn't understand that. I thought maybe, like, I was ready to see how it, like, came together and made sense, right? And there are arguments to be made that you can take messages throughout the Bible and create this standard message, right? And especially if you bring the New Testament into the talk and all these different things, right? But so far, where we are and where we've come from, the messages are just not working for me at all.
They changed so much from the beginning to now.
Yeah.
And so many times over that I can understand how every single belief system thinks it's the right one.
Sure.
Because there's a place in the Bible that validates that.
Yeah. No, and people joke about it all the time, but, you know, the cherry-picked Bible or whatever. And it's very true. Like, if I've seen one thing as we've been reading through this whole thing, is that the Bible is that there are, you could take things to mean any number of things. You could take this Bible that we've read and you could turn it into whatever type of idea you wanted to make it into. There is no set interpretation. There are accepted interpretations by certain groups that have become the mainstream interpretations. But you and I have read through this and taken something completely different than somebody who is religious would take from it.
Obviously, because we don't have the background to give us preconceived notions.
But generally, they don't either. Well, I see what you're saying. We're atheists. We haven't grown up in the religion.
We're not just atheists. We grew up without religion.
Right. So
I have to clarify that because there are people who did grow up with religion and then who became Christian or became atheists.
Right.
And I just wanted to clarify that we do not have that background.
Honestly, with regard to people who care a lot about being atheists, that seems to be the majority of the people out there. The reason we claim the title of atheist is more because of the political bullshit surrounding Christianity in the United States than it is about our anger or I don't want to say it's just anger with regard to the atheists that are out there, but because it's not. But there is definitely some aspect of wanting to disassociate themselves from the God of the Bible specifically, because it was such a traumatic event that whole portion of their life was so traumatic with regard to how they were brought up, how they felt about this imaginary God, and what happened to them when they decided to not believe in it anymore. Right? There's a lot of we've heard a lot of really horrible stories from people, and generally, I think most people are happy to have figured this out, but it still leaves chunks of hurt and pain.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's different ways of approaching the same thing, and I just never expected to see this much difference in what we're reading versus what the idea of the message is that's out in the world.
Yeah, that's been an interesting thing too, I think.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. Like we know basic stories.
Yeah.
You know, the Noah's Ark and that kind of thing. And, you know, Adam and Eve, but we did not know all the other ins and outs of various stories.
Yeah.
And that's been interesting.
Well, Christians give you the elevator pitch, right?
Right.
Like, it's not you get the quick version of what they believe Christianity is.
Yeah.
And it's always something beautiful and wonderful, and you just need to believe and you got to have faith, right? That's the general message that you get. And most of those people probably know way less about the Bible than we do.
I actually want to say something about that because we were talking to somebody who had deconverted from Christianity.
Yeah. And
they said something that I meant to comment on at the time because it was so profound, but it did stick in the back of my mind. So with regard to Christians always claiming that they've read the Bible, like you and I always say that what they have read has been pieces from various pages and various books and various chapters that are, daily devotionals, that kind of thing, or whatever their pastor tells them to read.
Right.
They're not a cohesive, like reading it all in order, right? And then I have said, I completely believe that they may have read the entire Bible, but not straight through, and that makes all the fucking difference.
Yeah.
Like, they may have touched every word at one time.
Right.
Throughout their life.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because they're not reading the whole thing, so they don't know what the fuck they've read.
Sure.
But the conversation when we were having this with some of our friends in the Discord group that meets Tuesday nights at 10 Eastern.
Probably Wednesdays this month.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah,
Yes,
your work schedule changed.
Right.
Yeah. Keep following us for updates on that.
Right.
But at any rate, we were having a discussion about this in our Discord group. And one of the people that had deconverted from Christianity said, we were brainwashed into believing that we had read the entire Bible. So
yeah, I remember that comment. Yeah.
Yeah. And she said when she left the church and started, actually trying to read the Bible for herself and then listening to our podcast and listening to us talk about it, was when she realized that she hadn't read nearly as much as she thought she had.
Right.
And I found that fascinating. I didn't know that was a facet of the church, that they do let people believe that they've read the whole Bible.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a lot like how, when you're in elementary school through high school, if you never go past that point with your education or choose to learn more on your own, your idea of what history is very generic and filled with holes, right? And it's only when you decide to learn more that it fills in some of those gaps, and you start getting a little appalled about what humanity's history is, and it takes getting beyond that surface level understanding of what it is,
right?
And generally, unless you are scholarly about anything that you want to be and that you're interested in, you're never going to get past that generic state of that text. Right. You're always going to get that fluffy, wonderful version of it.
Right.
And
you have to want to know more.
You have to want to know more.
And a lot of times people are just content to just lie with what they've gotten and they're done. They don't need more.
I think that's a great response to any Christian that you're fighting with. I'm sad that you don't want to know more.
Yeah.
That's the absolute truth.
And that can be true of not just the Bible, but people that are like, I can't be expected to, remember people's pronouns and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Really? Because you could memorize all the pieces of a recipe and, learn new vegetables that you never heard of before.
Right.
And that's not a problem for you. But respecting people, like, I'm really sad that you're done taking in new information.
Yeah. Well, they'll respect them as long as it's something that they deem is correct and right, because they have no problem with names, which is still an identifying character of a human being and how they want to be identified. So.
Unless those names are not your Jennifer, Stacy, David, Chris.
Right, yeah. No, they would not accept a name that somebody tells them is their name if they deem that person is not of that gender.
That's not white. That's how they...
Right.
If it's something that is like not considered like white American, then they're like, oh, I can't possibly have to figure out these letters. What is this alphabet soup?
Yeah.
Or you're right. A name that is specifically gendered one way or the other, if the person is identifying as a gender other than what their name would indicate, they're not going to respect that.
Right.
So, they're just done, and
hypocrisy.
That's sad.
There's lots of hypocrisy.
There is hypocrisy, but it's also just they feel like they know everything there is to know, and their church has told them that.
Yeah.
And so they have allowed that to... It's almost like they can sit back in their lazy boys and sigh and go, thank goodness I don't have to try anymore with life or learn new stuff.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Not only do I get to like enjoy, just sit back and not try anymore. Like I get to be lazy, but I also get to be prideful and boastful about it.
I think judgmental is something that people really enjoy doing too.
Oh,
being
definitely.
judgmental. Like if you see yourself as higher or better than another human being, that makes you feel good about yourself, right?
Somehow, yeah.
So the more you can be judgmental and degrade other people, to some people that makes them lift themselves. That replaces their self-worth, their mental health. It helps them feel more powerful, more in control. There's a lot of things.
There's a lot of psychology.
There's a lot of psychology behind it. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't want to go. I don't know all the ins and outs, and I'm kind of talking out of my ass here.
As we do.
I know that is part of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think we've talked this to death, though.
We have gone far afield, my friend.
Yes. So that was Daniel chapter 4.
Sure as fuck was.
Which means that finally, tomorrow, we'll be back.
Friday, we'll be reading Daniel chapter 5.
That's right. All right. We will see you guys then.
Bye.
Hey, wife. I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep. We have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.